Good evening, everyone. I wanted to pop on here today to talk about my space, something that I've been going through. If you follow me on my personal page, you probably would know that I've been going through some times this last 5 weeks. I suffered from a miscarriage and went through a whole bunch of medical issues and mental, I had a lot of mental strength during the time, but physically my body was going through a lot. And I I kind of wrapped up this beautiful gift today after going through what I've gone through in the last 5 weeks and being somebody who loves to talk about mind fitness and mental wellness and, talk about kind of how to take situations in our lives and be able to find that, even failures, how to be able to find that seed of equivalent benefit. How can we take something that's been traumatizing, that's been hard, that's been, really challenging to go through, and how can we take that and actually shift it into something that's going to be powerful for us, something that we can use as a gift, something that becomes a very healing message for other people. And so going through sort of what I've gone through in the last 5 weeks, and I at the end of last week, I sort of felt I got this. Like I felt strong. I felt mentally like on top of my game. I was like, you know what? I'm going to get through this. I'm going to move on. My life is going to move on. And I remember feeling I say I remember feeling, this was like less than a week ago, right? I remember saying, to my husband and to my mom and just saying, you know what? I really feel like I have it together. I feel like I've got this down and I'm going to move on really smoothly. And, the trauma is over, the trauma of the hospital and the drugs that I've been pumped through and the emergency surgery I had to go through, the loss of a baby that I had to go through, all of these things. I felt, I kind of came out of it and I was like, all right, I got this. And then something happened to me last Friday, a huge trigger. And I wasn't anticipating it, but it rocked my world. And this trigger literally crumbled every ounce of strength that I thought that I had. And so I was able to make sense of this today. And that's why I'm here. I wanted to share it with you. This is kind of my process. I love to be able to share with you certain things that I've been able to heal through in an effort that this is going to help somebody else. And so what I wanted to share, the message I wanted to share today is understanding that when we go through trauma, sometimes being mentally strong can actually suppress the trauma at the beginning. So if we have this ability to have filters that allow us the strength during a time that is traumatic, oftentimes that strength is actually suppressing the actual trauma that's there, right? So we go into this survival mode where we're like, I just got to get through this. I just got to get through this. I got this. I just got to get through this. And it's pushing away the actual healing that needs to take place. So ultimately and eventually, you will have a trigger that comes up and rocks you. And all these things start to come up. Anger, frustration, resentment, you're like all this like kind of these ugly feelings, they just start to surface. And the thing is that trigger is actually the greatest gift that one could have, because that trigger is actually the key. It's a big enough trigger that it becomes this like explosion, like this volcano that's allowing the true healing to surface again. That's allowing, what is underneath to come out. So, ultimately when we go through something that's really suffering, we want to be able to heal that underlying space, because all we're doing otherwise is that we're going to carry that trauma with us for years and years and years. And that's why a lot of people, when they're in their 30s and 40s and 50s, and they're just kind of like, why am I still playing this message over and over again? Why am I still going through X, Y, and Z and this pattern, and this is just the way I am? Why? Because they never healed a trauma that happened to them like way years ago, right? So the depth of the trauma is going to coincide with the depth of the trigger. So when this trigger happens, it's literally, this trigger seems so fierce, but that's actually the same depth of the actual trauma that's underlying. So I just want you to know that if you're healing through something, or you're supporting somebody that's healing through something, I just realized I'm wearing my pajamas right now, totally doing a live in my pajamas. Anyways, that's beside the point. This was the shirt I got baptized in. Okay, so the healing can often be super messy, super ugly, just not a pretty thing. And that's okay. And what we have to do is we have to understand that when we're healing, to give ourselves grace, and to be able to understand that there's going to be situations or people that we just might need to step away from for a season while we give ourselves the time and the space that we need. And that is not a selfish thing. That is not an egotistical thing. That is understanding and having intuition to the places and the people that have the ability to give us the space and the healing that we need at that time. So the most important thing to understand is that when someone's going through trauma, you don't need more trauma or drama, right? So you have to be able to protect that space for you while you go through the things that you need to do to bring yourself to that space of peace, right? That we really want to be after. So just really getting clear that our intention is to clear that ego, and really when we say ego, that's the trauma speaking. Because sometimes, we might feel that when we're in that space that we're doing things that aren't from a place of love. And yes, we normally call that the ego, but that's really the trauma speaking. And it needs space to clear. It needs space to actually be able to heal in a safe way. In a safe way. And there's going to be people that may love you, your family. It could be, it could be people that you still respect and love, but that space is just not safe for you in the time where you need to heal. So bring that trauma, whatever it might be, bring that up. Lift that up. And if you believe in God, you can pray to God. If you believe in the universe, hand it to the universe or whoever. But allow that to heal itself, and understand and speak into it that you just don't want to hold on to that trauma any longer. So my ultimate message today that I wanted to kind of pop on here and just share is knowing that, again, the lesson is knowing that if you are a mentally strong person, which I am, that is one thing that I can say, is that I have a very strong mind when it comes to my ability to perceive certain situations and know that within every situation there's going to be always a seed of equivalent benefit, and that it's how we respond to life, not what happens to us. And so knowing that space, even though it's strong, it can also suppress, and that eventually when things happen in our lives that put us into survival mode, that are traumatic, we always will have to deal with them sooner or later. So you may have a trigger that happens in your life one day and you're like, why this? Why this event? Why is this affecting me so much? But it's because that trigger is coinciding with the depth of that trauma that you haven't dealt with yet. And open that space with open arms. Allow that to come in. Allow that space to fill you up and say, wow, I need to look at this. I need to address this. I need to heal from this. And then giving yourself the compassion and grace to give yourself space of what is right for you and how you are going to heal. So I hope that has resonated with somebody. This message was definitely for somebody, because hey, if I'm popping on here in my jammies, that's because I have a download for somebody. Someone's gonna listen to this and go, that was for me. I hope so. Anyways, love to all of you. Hopefully you have an amazing Tuesday evening, and we'll pop in here and talk to you soon again. Bye.